South Africa's Anglican Bishop Desmond Tutu today was awarded the 1984 Nobel Peace Prize. He was praised for his, quote, nonviolent struggle for human rights of the country's black majority, for his role as a unifying leader figure in the campaign to resolve the problems of apartheid in South Africa. Charles Osgood reports.
He was in New York City this morning when he heard the news that he had won the Nobel Peace Prize.
This award is saying that it recognizes that we in the South African Council of Churches are those who stand between South Africa and catastrophe.
Bishop Desmond Tutu has become the leading voice in South Africa against that country's system of separation of the races, apartheid, under which the best housing, jobs, and education are reserved for the 8 million whites and are denied to the 22 million blacks. It's not only blacks and whites who've been separated by apartheid, but families. Men get temporary permits to work, sometimes for years, in white-only areas, and their wives and children dare try to be near them.
What has been their heinous crime? It has been that they wanted to be with the fathers of their children.
Bishop Tutu is the spokesman for a nonviolent, peaceful, prideful response by blacks.
Not walk around apologizing because we are black.
The bishop also speaks to the white minority with an appeal to change the system before it is too late. No, he says to both sides, it is not too late, not yet.
He does manage to radiate a sense of there being a future, that all is not despair, that these irreconcilable differences can be reconciled.
How was news of Bishop Tutu's Nobel Peace Prize received in South Africa itself? Depends on where you were and who you were.
Very strange that he contributed to terrorist organizations.
Bishop Tutu is delighted with his prize, but the prize he really wants is a reconciliation in what he calls his sad and tortured country. Charles Osgood, CBS News, New York.
Earlier today, I spoke with Bishop Tutu at New York's General Theological Seminary, where since last month he has been a visiting professor. I asked him about the Reagan administration's policy toward South Africa's white minority government, a policy called constructive engagement, one that has softened official criticism of that government and removed some of the tough sanctions for the stated purpose of trying to play a more influential role in bringing about change.
Constructive engagement has not worked. Far from working to change the situation in South Africa in the right direction, as I've tried to indicate, things have deteriorated and deteriorated badly. It seems to me that this administration is saying that blacks are expendable. The name of the United States in the black community in South Africa, very sadly, is mud.
Why is that?
Because your country is seen as collaborating with, supporting a system that is bringing so much unnecessary and untold misery on so many of God's children, and that you are supporting an unjust, a repressive regime.
Bishop Tutu frequently has compared the effects of apartheid in South Africa to Nazism in Germany.
Apartheid says the most important thing about a human being is the color of their skin. That's a parallel. Okay, the Nazis decided to have a final solution, and they had the Holocaust. South Africa has a final solution. It strips blacks of their South African citizenship so that it can uproot them. As it is done, 3.5 million blacks have been uprooted and dumped in areas where there is little food, there is little work.
Bishop, what is your message to South African whites?
I want to say to them, please grasp the hands that blacks are extending to you. Blacks don't want to drive you into the sea. All they want is a place, their rightful place in the sun.
Bishop Tutu said he will leave immediately for South Africa, where that government has made no official comment on the Nobel Peace Prize.